Are you guys ready for this? I am about to give my honest opinion about the one Myers-Briggs type that doesn't give a shit what I think. Yep, you heard me right. Today I'm going to be talking about ENTJs. And I'm super excited about this one. Like, I think I'm more excited about this one than like any other type. Don't let this get to your head, ENTJs. I'm just very excited because I don't think I've ever really gotten the opportunity to, I don't know, ENTJ has ever asked me, what do you think about me? Because they're kind of just doing their own thing. But now's my chance, so I'm about to take it. And I'm excited. And disclaimer, as I said in my other videos where I give my honest opinion about personality types, disclaimer, stereotyping personality types is not the way to go. Whenever I'm offering my opinion, I am speaking from my experience as an ENFJ. I don't speak for all ENFJs. And I'm speaking from my experience with the ENTJs that I know. And I'm making little generalizations about all of the ENTJs that I know. But everyone's different. So keep that in mind. So, gonna jump right into this. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous. Oh my gosh, like, I'm nervous I'm gonna, like, say something wrong. Because the thing is with ENTJs is that I like all of them, but not all of them like me. And if you don't like me, I don't like you. That's basically how it works. I basically feel like I understand ENTJs, like, all of them, but not all of them like take the time to understand me. So because if they tried, they'd be able to understand me because we're similar, but a lot of them would rather think that there's nobody like them, and a lot of them would rather just focus on other things than on trying to understand other people. And so the ones that take the time to understand me are spot on. But the ones that don't are probably not gonna understand me. And that's the thing with ENTJs is that because of their poor FE, they aren't necessarily concerned with other people's behavior, which I think is a really awesome quality to have because it allows you to really be heads down and focus on what is really important in life. And that's something that I admire in ENTJs that I've been trying to cultivate in myself, is that really, let me just say it this way. As an ENFJ, I'm very thankful for the emotional information that I pick up about people because I think it helps me make creative decisions, especially in terms of like marketing or writing or content creation whenever I'm reaching an audience and I want to make educated guesses about how an audience might respond. Extroverted feeling is great because I pick up the emotional environment of what people think, how they feel, what they're expecting, all that good stuff. And I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but that same area of my mind that is picking up emotional information can also distract me from what really matters sometimes. And what ENTJs are really good at is moving forward, and they don't care what people like. They don't pick up that information, and so they aren't distracted by it. Because something that I really believe is that feedback has more to do with the person giving the feedback than about you. And ENTJs really know this. They don't really buy into what people think. But what I will say is that ENTJs do care about being liked in a way that is that's different than ENFJs. I just really sense, okay, one thing I'll say about ENTJs is that since they don't pick up emotional information from others very readily, since they aren't really examining that, and that's not the filter that they see the world, I think that they also don't understand how much emotional information they are conveying. Like, I sense sometimes a lot of butthurtedness and ego and competition and revenge, and sometimes I think ENTJs' actions that they say are logical are actually like for attention or because they want a pat on the back, but they don't know how to ask for it, and they don't know how to ask for help, and they don't want to seem weak, and so they'll like make moves that they hope will give them a pat on the back, and because they want to be important. And I think that that's how they tend to, that's the love that they want. They want to be respected. And so sometimes their decisions and their behavior will be because they want respect. And I don't know if they realize how much I'm able to pick up whenever they're doing something with an emotional motive. And I don't think that they realize either. I think that they're just moving forward. Anyway, my opinion about ENTJs is that they need to understand that their way of doing things isn't necessarily the best way, just that it's the best way for them. I don't think that they naturally, how am I going to say this? I don't think that they naturally appreciate the differences that humans have and understand that each difference is a gift, and that I don't think that they want to learn from people who are different from them either, really. They would much rather just do things their way, which is great, good for you. But the problem that I get into with ENTJs is whenever they don't respect that my way of doing things is different. And we're both leaders, and I'm a different sort of leader than an ENTJ is. And if an ENTJ can respect that, then cool, we're buds. Like, I'm gonna help you with what you need, you help me with what I need. But if they're threatened by me because they aren't good with people as much, and if they deny the fact that they just aren't an emotional leader, they can't pull at the heartstrings and get an audience the way that I can. If they acknowledge that, then we're great partners and we can help each other in what we're trying to do. But I just sense a lot of condescension from ENTJs. Like, whenever I do something my way, I sense this feeling that they think that they're better than me, or that their way's better than me. And it really has to do with the maturity of the type. If they want to understand, like, hey, like, I'm this way and she's that way, and I'm better at some things and she's better than other things. But it doesn't seem like ENTJs want to admit that to themselves ever. And I don't know if it's because we're both strong personalities that some of you are intimidated by that. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I don't quite know how the emotions of an ENTJ works. But I do think that whenever their emotions come out, they seem like big babies, like, to me. And that's fair. You probably think that I'm a big baby in a lot of ways. But the way that their emotions seep out when they're unattended to is kind of funny to me to watch. I think that female ENTJs tend to have their shit together in terms of sticking to their values and making sure they're a good person and making sure they come off warm. Probably because society encourages that from women, and society allows women to express their feelings and stuff like that. And a lot of ENTJ women I know are well, let's just say right off the bat, all men and women, ENTJs are like total badasses, and they're a force to be reckoned with. And I envy that force, like the way they're able to get things done, and their consistency, and their sheer willpower. I think that's something that ENTJs and I get along well with, is the willpower portion. But here's the thing. Here's a good way of putting it. As an ENFJ, I'm interested in similarities when I meet someone. I want to know, how are we similar and how are we not? And so whenever I see an ENTJ, all I notice is our similarities. It seems to me, though, that whenever they meet me, they're more interested in pinning down our differences, and that can cause conflict. Because really, I see a lot of similarities more than differences. Like, we're both bold, misunderstood people who think about things a lot more than people realize, because people might out of all the intuitives, I would say ENFJs and ENTJs can sort of blend in with society the most, because we are leaders, we are taking part in conversations, we're kind of the ones molding society and trying to move it toward the future in our respective fields, in our respective positions. And I think that we interact with the world that we are wanting to change, that we think is not the way we want. We interact with it a lot. And so we interact with those people that have the culture that we don't like, that we're wanting to change. And we have to sort of blend in and hide our intuitive nature around those people. I think ENTJs would probably be aware of, like, a lot of them are in business. They're aware of, like, things in their industry that they think are bullshit, and they probably know how to get around it and just sort of play the game the way you're supposed to play it so that they can continue to move forward. But it might hurt them inside that they have to continue doing that bullshit that they don't think is important. The same way that whenever I'm trying to make an impact on people and I'm like sad inside, whenever I'm like, why is society even like this anyway? I don't know. But I think that okay. Now what can I say? They're very consistent. And they tell it like it is. And I think that they tend to think that I talk too much. Oh, I know something I could say. In arguments with ENTJs, since I have stronger, like, TI, like, I'll always be like, why, and, like, trying to, when I try to argue my point, I think that they think that I'm being defensive when I'm really confused. There's a lot that I'm just confused about, where I'm not good at arguing and I'm not good at proving my logic. And so a lot of times if I'm in a disagreement with an ENTJ, I get really flustered because I could tell that they're trying to sum me up and that I don't really know how to explain that very well. Really just the main thing that comes to mind whenever I think of ENTJs is how I feel like I see them I love them, and I just want them to like me. I just want them to respect me. That's all. And I look down on them when I feel like they are incapable of respecting anyone that's different than them. And I look down at them when they don't want to collaborate. And I think that they are super smart or whatever, but like they don't understand. There are some ENTJs I know that honestly we clash because they don't understand introverted thinking, and they just, oh yeah, here's what bugs me is how they sometimes don't even have a pieced together conclusion of why they think what they think. They'll just, sometimes their thinking process seems fragmented, like to me, since I'm an introverted thinker. Alright, I really need to go through and delete some stuff on my phone because it keeps closing off or turning off or whatever because I'm out of space. But just to finish up my point, I think that ENTJs could benefit from being more curious about others and how they might be different than them, but also just curious about, because sometimes they seem to just go with the first conclusion that crosses their mind, like about people and about things. And what I was trying to say earlier is that introverted thinkers tend to have a more cohesive understanding of a topic before they start to voice their opinion on it, where sometimes ENTJs, they won't spend as much time thinking deeply about what it is they think on a certain belief. I mean, they will if they really, really care about it. That's the difference, is that an ENTJ, if it really matters to them, they're gonna think about it deeply. But for the things that don't matter, they're just gonna go with it. And I don't know if they realize how often they're making conclusions super quickly that might be invalidating others around them, or without asking others what they think. Oh, I know another thing I want to add in this video. Ask for help. I said this to the INFPs too, but I did a group project in college with an ENTJ, and like, she, I think, thought we were all stupid and just would do work without trying to collaborate, and then she gave us all like really bad scores for she gave everyone a really bad score for their group participation, but it kind of wasn't fair because she sort of just like did the work herself without giving anyone else any opportunity to do it. And I think ENTJs can do this thing where they're like, whatever, like, you guys aren't gonna do it right, like, I only trust myself to get it done, so I'm just gonna get it done. Like, it will benefit you to like talk to the other person about it and like try and collaborate. And like, other advice I would give to an ENTJ is like, delegate out, whether you're working on a group or you're in a business or whatever you're doing, delegate out to other people the things that you're not best at. Because like, let's face it, like, you're not the best at everything. Like, you have to understand that. Like, you're not perfect. And even though you're good at a lot of things and you're really good at coming up with a good solution to move forward, like, you are not expertise in everything, and you can't do it alone. Like, you have to depend on other people, and that's just how the world works. So like, rely on other people more, but don't be dumb about it. And I know you're not going to, but like, try and slow down, like, be curious, like, ask questions about people, like, give them the benefit of the doubt more. Here's the thing, ENFJs, I give people the benefit of the doubt way too often, but I don't think ENTJs do it enough. And I think that we would both be better people if I was more like you, in the sense, like, I would, it seems like ENTJs, you hate everyone unless they prove otherwise, unless they prove that they are to be trusted and they are smart and they are good or whatever. But, like, not everyone shows their intelligence and their qualities in the same way. And so sometimes you have to sort of give people the benefit of the doubt until they screw up. Because, yeah. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about ENTJs. Please love me and appreciate me. Like, I'm more like you than you think. Like, it really pisses me off whenever ENTJs see everything I'm doing as over emotional without acknowledging like what I'm skilled at that they're not skilled at. Because I've got like I know that I am not the best at being concise about my opinions, and I can sort of ramble on and get off track and stuff, and I'm also not very consistent in my energy levels, not very consistent. I'm not very consistent with people. Like, I sort of roll with the tides of my emotions. There's so many things that I think ENTJs are skilled at, and you would be a lot more well-liked and a lot happier if you were able to acknowledge those things in other people. Thanks for watching. I love you, ENTJs. I know that you don't care if I love you or not or whatever, but I'm telling you anyway because I feel like you deserve to be told that you're loved. Because you know what? One more thing. I feel like people don't understand. Like, what am I saying? I think ENTJs could use a hug, and people just view them as like untouchable and like as if they don't need anything because like they don't ask for it. And like I'm similar in some respects, but man, like, you guys deserve to relax. You guys deserve a hug. You guys deserve to be told like I love you, and people just don't do that to you because they don't think you need it. And yeah, I empathize with that. So yeah, there were my thoughts on ENTJs, and thanks for watching.